Johnny and I are like this. He completes me.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
Welcome back, everybody, to Total Nonstop Impact. Impact Talk for Impact fans, featured right here on the Impact Lounge. This is Trent, along with my co-host, Jaybone. Jaybone, say hello to the people.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on, man? How you doing? We're Kyle-less today. No Kyle. But
where's our scumbag?
No scumbag today. But Jaybone, it's okay. You know why? He was on the live Slammiversary review. He showed his face. I mean, that was big for Kyle to reveal his face. That was like a powers that be reveal. I mean, it was big for him. A lot of people hadn't seen Kyle's face before.
I think that was the first time I ever saw his face.
There you go. See, I mean, he's a pretty private guy, man. So it took a lot out of him. If you guys haven't seen the Slammiversary review, we had it up. It was up right after Slammiversary on the Impact Lounge and all the RSS feeds on iTunes, Stitcher, and everything. Look for the Slammiversary review. But that's all three of us. And but if you want video, Kyle's on the video. But he's not with us today, J-Bone. It's going to be you and I handling the July 5th, 2019 edition of Impact Wrestling. It was the go-home show for Slammiversary. And I know it seems kind of weird we're doing a little backwards because we did Slammiversary already, but we still got to keep consistent, right, J-Bone? We got to keep consistent.
Yeah, here. It's, and like I said to you guys yesterday, I said, I don't care how you want to do this. If you just want to, go do the pay-per-view and skip this one or whatever, either way, I'm good with it. So, yeah, I mean, it's a little backwards, but we're doing it because there's some really fun stuff in this show to talk about. And a little bit of news that came out today. Do you want to go over that real quick or no?
That's good. I'll let you kick that off since you had discussed it earlier. Why don't you start off the news? I'll let you handle the news section here.
All right. Well, coming out of Slammiversary from last night, so we're about 24 hours out from Slammiversary. The company's going through some changes, and we're not going to sit there and be all, negative Nellies like, oh, they're losing people. No, the company is evolving. Change happens. People come and go. First and foremost, news came out that Johnny Impact had actually been done contractually for several weeks now, but decided to stick around and work these dates and finish the storyline, which compliments him as a worker, honestly. I might as well just list the other ones as well, and we could, bounce back and forth talking about these guys. Right. It was also reported almost at the same time that LAX is finishing up with the company. They're getting a lot of attention from other companies. It doesn't take too long to figure out who. Johnny Impact's a little more of a head scratcher. He can pretty much go do whatever he wants and be a star wherever. I was even thinking like New Japan. You never know what's on his mind, what he wants to accomplish as a professional wrestler. Sure. Who are you going to miss the most, and what do you think is going to be the biggest hole to fill here?
Originally, I would have said the hole to fill would have been LAX because they're such a big part of that heart of Impact. But
their tag division, yeah.
The tag division's on fire, and the way they basically put the North on a pedestal right away, I almost feel like there is no void because it's like, man, they made the North look strong, quick, and they look good at the pay-per-view. They look good at Bash of the Brewery. I mean, they came out looking real good, and I was like, you know what, that void might be big because LAX is really like a heart and soul type of team. But man, I tell you, the North looks so good. It's like you almost kind of forget about that void being left, and it's like, hey, let's move our attention here because these guys look amazing. So I didn't feel too bad about it. If that's true, I love LA, but don't get me wrong, I love those guys. I think
Yeah.
they're fantastic. But if the payoff is the North being the face of the division, I'm totally fine with that too. Totally fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Johnny, on the other hand, I feel like Johnny, what was left? What was left for Johnny? He had a nice run with the world title. He definitely had a bunch of different feuds. Johnny was all over the place. And he landed on a good note. I mean, that match with Rich Swann, as I noted on our review, that to me, that was what stole the show, man. I thought that was a match of the night for me, and I think he went out great if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, he really did shine as far as working with Rich Swann, and just the way his characters changed over the last year. Came in as a babyface,
Mm-hmm.
played a strong heel. Did his whole thing with kind of teaming with Cross for a bit, then went against him, and that whole thing, and kind of ended on a goofy note, which I'm good with because I felt this whole thing with Johnny Bravo has been really fun to watch.
It's great.
Just his whole run, and I kind of said this earlier on my channel, but I'll repeat it because I think it bears repeating. His whole run coming back to professional wrestling in general over the last 5 years has been so fun to watch. Between Lucha Underground, which was like the initial bang, he's back in wrestling, running roughshod with Cross and Taya in AAA, joining Impact Wrestling and really become a main player in that company. Man, it's just been a crazy few years with him. And it's been he's one of my favorites, okay? He could do no wrong in my eyes. And I feel like he's really grown all around, physically, in the ring, on the mic, goofy promos or serious promos. I feel he's grown. Whereas back when he was a long time ago in the WWE, people crapped on him all the time because he really wasn't that good. But becoming an actor, coming back and then going back to wrestling, I feel like he's really shining,
Yeah. He looks like $1 million, right? The guy looks like a star.
God. Yeah. Like I said, Johnny Bravo polishing his freaking abs at the show last night. I was just dying. I was like, hey, he looks. What the hell was he saying? Oh, I'm jumping ahead to the review here, but in the interview he did with Melissa Santos and Johnny Bravo right before their match, he was sitting there flexing and going 98% fat free. It was you look it, dude.
That's right. He does. The guy does legitimately look like a star. He's a head turner guy, right? He walks in. Look, you could be at your local CVS, right? And he can walk in, and you're gonna know he's something. He looks like one of those guys. Like, I don't know what that guy is, or if you're just a regular dude and you're like, I don't know who that guy is, but he looks like a star. He's one of those guys, man. He has that look. He looks like a star. He'll turn your head.
Like Don Johnson walking in the club in Miami Vice, and everybody turns around like, who's that?
It's true. That's one thing I talk. It's a big topic of discussion. I talk with a lot of the guys that I work with at AAW, and we discuss different talents, guys we want to bring in, things like that. And we always talk about the head turning. The head turner is that's your test. If you walk in, if people turn their head to look, that's how you got a star. Yeah. That's where it comes down to. And I think that's a big part of it, man. He's one of those guys. And yeah, listen, maybe he didn't move the needle for Impact, right? Maybe he didn't. Did he add to the roster? Absolutely. Always a solid match, never bad. I have zero complaint in regards to what he contributed to Impact Wrestling. I definitely didn't like the face run. I thought it was, but this latest, the way he went out was great.
Yeah.
LAX is the one I'm going to miss, and I think I can speak for everybody on that one. But it is what it is, man. Wrestling is essentially J-Bone back to being territorial. It really is, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You do a run, and then you move on to the next territory. That's it. That it's just like in the 80s. Anybody remembers the 80s, 70s, and 80s were just like that. Maybe we're old, Jaybone. I said, do you guys remember? I mean, I'm acting like these people. A lot of these people know what the hell I'm talking about. Well, they might know what I'm talking about. They probably weren't there to watch it. But
back in the day, back when I was a young whippersnapper.
Oh, back when back when Greg the Hammer Valentine was taking out Wahoo McDaniel in the Mid Atlantic, and then I saw him again in Amarillo, and I saw him again in LA. Like, hey, territory wrestling is essentially back now, and it's super indies is what you have. Yeah. They have their own universes now. It's almost like universe wrestling. Within one realm, they're one way. Within another, they're another. It's really just the same concept has started again. I mean, for God's sake, J-Bone, WWE sends guys to wrestle for Evolve, who's like a developmental territory for their developmental territory. So it's like you guys, their stars are on indie shows. It blows my mind. It's that perception's reality. Their stars are on indie shows. And I'm like, what kind of world am I living in where Vince McMahon has allowed his guys to be on indie shows again? You know what I mean? I'm like, what happened here?
I don't understand that at all. You know, I mean, sometimes you need a refresher. And hey, okay, if you're not going to use me here, use me over here. And I get that to a point, but wow, yeah, it's crazy.
To an extent, but man, yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, I'm not bummed out. We had a great run with LAX.
Yeah.
It's fun. 4-time tag champs. Lots of storylines. Tons of storylines. You know, they did a lot of stuff.
When I started watching the brand consistently 2 years ago, or 2.5, whatever it was again, they carried the tag division on their back, and they did it well.
Really well.
So props to those guys.
Big time. They were a big part of the company, huge contribution in the lore. And that's the thing about LAX also. We forget about this. Need we remind ourselves that LAX is a brand that Conan creates, right? And he places new people into LAX. LAX is an impact entity. That's an impact entity. That's so it's like, hey, I mean, how many guys have been in LAX, right? It's a rotating platform for up and coming Latino tag teams. That's really that's what Conan built it as. Homicide Hernandez, Chavo Guerrero was in LAX for a little while. Then you have these two. I mean, it's always been a rotating cast. That's the point of it. I'm totally
throughout the years, yeah. That's true.
Who's that guy who teamed with Chavo? I can't remember his name now. Do you remember? Like, oh man, this is dark days of not dark days, but this is some forgotten stuff in the lore of Impact Wrestling. There was a guy. It's not Bandito, obviously. There's already a Bandito. But there was a guy who
was it like 10 years ago?
Yeah, I'd say rough. Yeah, maybe not 10, maybe like 8 years ago. But there was a guy who teamed with Chavo, and he was terrible. He was awful. He had a good mouth. He talked a little bit, but I can't remember his name. But
man, no, I don't remember. I'd have to go hit that Impact Plus app or something.
Oh, it's definitely on there. It's definitely on there. I forgot his name, but man, this was like old school stuff, man. I'm trying to remember what the hell it was, because was it Machete? There was a Machete too at one time. I think so. There's been some random guys in LAX for a while, but man, might have been Machete. I don't know. I'd have to see his face again. But yeah, man, it was but anyway, look, all in good fun. Let's see what happens. I'm interested in seeing where they decide to end up. Listen, they might re-sign. We don't know anything yet. Nothing's been said. They haven't signed anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. All we know is that for now, the contracts were up, and you would Impact like to keep them, I'm sure. But the money that's getting thrown around right now, I don't think Impact. I know Impact has the money. I don't think the people that are holding the money want to spend it, because it's been a lot of per date stuff that the guys are doing, I think. So
yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see where they go, man. We'll see. Well, let's go ahead and kick it out. Let's start with some comments. J-Bone, we got a lot of flack for not reading comments. Some people like them, some people don't. So here's what we're going to do, guys. I am going to create a nice little balance of comments here. I'm going to just not do a ton, but do a few. We'll do a few comments. I'll pick a few out. We'll read those and we'll get on with the review. How's that? So that sounds fair?
Sounds good, man.
Comments from the loungers. Comments from the loungers. Comments from the loungers. Comments from the loungers.
I'm going to open up, though, J-Bone, with a comment by none other than Rohit Raju of the Desi Hit Squad, who left a comment.
No way.
He did. He said, keep up the great work, guys. Yeah? How about that, huh?
Oh,
keep up the great work, guys.
Some love from the guys in Impact.
Now, the guys have told me to listen. He's one of our biggest supporters. He put it out there that he listens, and I appreciate that. A couple of the other guys have told me too. So that's pretty heartwarming to know the guys are listening. So that's pretty cool. Let's jump over here. Hakeem Fullerton has a great idea. He says, I say Impact should come back on Thursday nights, either 8 to 10 p.m. or 9 to 11. As long as viewership increases, numbers increase week to week, everything will be fine. I agree. We talked about this last week. I think Thursday's a good day for them to go back to. Go back home to Thursday.
Hell yeah, man.
I thought Thursday's a great day. It'd be fun to have them right back. Let's see what else we got here. Eric DeHoff says Sue started doing the undead bride character in Shine. Okay, I didn't know that. So tell me, Eric, was she just regular Sue Young before that, and then did they do a storyline? I'd like to know what happened. Eric's really good at he knows a lot of history about Shine and Shimmer. Like he's up to date on that stuff. So the women's wrestling stuff, I go to Eric. He's an encyclopedia of this stuff.
Nice.
So Eric, let me know how she evolved. Yeah, he knows his stuff. Let's see here. Critical Sting says the one thing I got from the Deaners and North match is that now I want to see Josh Alexander versus cousin Jake.
Oh, hell yeah.
You mentioned that, J-Bone, right? Like that's something you want to see too. That's definitely, I think, a nice little Haas match right there. Bill Mack, who's a big supporter of ours. Bill Mack's great. Every week, I'd say, J-Bone, he's almost the first one to tweet us every week when we drop a new episode. He says, I'm going to a bit of the longer comments. Let me just blaze through it here. Deaners versus North was a great match with two great up-and-coming tag teams in the division. I love watching Moose progress into a great heel. I love the gimmick he has with the current storyline. Can't wait for Havoc and Sue to feud. Love the backstage segments as of late, such as TJP and Ace Austin and the Desi Hit Squad and Deaners. It's pretty good. The Eddie Edwards cross feud is awesome with great storytelling, which I enjoy. Sammy and Tessa has great build-up, which I look forward to their match Slammiversary, which we know was a home run. The Rascals got a great win over LAX and Laredo. The ending of the show with Cage and Elgin going toe-to-toe and heading to Slammiversary, great episode. I mean, as we know with Slammiversary being in the books, all that was perfectly done. The setup was great. Setup was great.
Right.
Let's do a few more here. Mir Neeson points out that the priest in the church was former Impact referee Andrew Thomas, which I caught that too, but I didn't want to blow his cover. I was like, that looks like Andrew Thomas. So
interesting. I had no clue who that was.
Early TNA days, it was Rudy Charles, who's in WWE now, I believe.
Yes.
And then Andrew Thomas was the other one. He was like, he did all the other the other high profile matches. The two of them would go back and forth. Then you had Slick Johnson, who was in was a WCW guy and stuff. So you had a nice little rotating cast. But those two, Andrew Thomas and Rudy Charles, are synonymous with early TNA days. But Andrew Thomas works in production now. When he left refereeing, he went to the production team. I believe he had a degree in like video production, editing, and stuff. So he went to that. So he's like the on-site guy, which is cool. And they throw him in the skit every now and then.
Yeah.
Now, I got to say this real quick, J-Bone. Mir Neeson on the Slammiversary review said, J-Bone, welcome, J-Bone, my bald brother. He said, my fellow bald brother. So the smooth shaved head gentlemen stick together. There you go. Mir's got a great dome. He's got a perfectly shaved dome.
I always look at myself and I say, hey, it's one half of a great looking ass.
Let's get now, Jim. You got any before pictures too, like with hair? Can we get some old school shots?
Ooh, those are unique. Someday.
Yeah. See, I mean, hey, I'm gonna put it to the loungers, J-Bone. Loungers, do you want to see J-Bone with hair? You want to see a photo, after photo with J-Bone with hair? Yeah. How about this, J-Bone? You post that.
It goes back. It goes way back.
You post that. I'll post ones of me in short hair. How about that? I'll do that. Hey, listen, Kyle outed me. He posted a picture of me with an afro back in the late '90s. I had a big curly fro. Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
That's incredible.
AK Infinity says hashtag brand the moves. Got to get that trending on Twitter. That's my saying. Thank you, AK. I've been saying that forever. Brand the damn finishing moves. We talked about last week. We talked about last week, man. How much money and branding is left on the table when you don't brand the finishing moves of a guy. Like you just say, oh, he's going for a slingshot suplex. Like, no, give it a name.
Yeah.
Give it a goddamn name. The North's finisher is so cool.
Scream it out. Yeah.
Something. I mean, I think back, and that's one thing I will always give to Vince McMahon is that every nook and cranny you can brand, that son of a bitch would brand it. A finishing move, because he knew that the more you say it, the more people are going to remember it. They're going to scream for it. They want a t-shirt with it. They want to make a sign. They want this and they want that. I mean, why do you think JR? Rock bottom, rock bottom, rock bottom. You know, Stone Cold Stunner, Stone Cold Stunner. I mean, it gets in your head.
Yeah, whether it sucks or not, absolutely. I mean, all the way up to, them like, oh, it's the Viking experience, which, okay, that blows, but, they're even doing it. Yeah.
But you remember it. It's dumb, but you remember it.
Yeah.
I want to put one out here, too. Steve Ewan put out a trivia question, which I answered. Oh. And he said, how many, let's see how many of you guys get this right. There are 8 Triple Crown winners that have held the World X Division and Tag Team Championships, besides AJ Styles, who held the NWA World and Tag Team Championships. What are the other 7 Triple Crown winners in Impact history? I got 6 initially. Actually, no, I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I did have my 7, but I put down 8 total because he said not without AJ. So I did without AJ, but I got them all, man. The answer is Abyss, Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, Eric Young, Austin Aries, Samoa Joe, Eddie Edwards, and I had forgotten one. I was racking my brain. I went back and edited, and I said Chris Sabin. Chris Sabin was the other one.
Yeah. Even though his run was short as champ, but it was still did it.
Still did it. Exactly. All right, let's do one more here. One more here. Chris Steele Show says, what a piece of garbage should be added to the sound bites.
Hell yeah.
And then Whoopsie also, and on that note, Whoopsie says, did you not get a soundbite of Don saying, what a dick? Damn it, Kyle, you better get on that, man. I didn't know that was a thing. I forgot that. So, guys, thanks for all the comments. We appreciate it. We're gonna, like I said, I picked up, a handful, a little over a handful. We'll do that. We're not gonna keep it too long in the comments because we got.
There you go.
Some you like them, some don't. But let's jump in, J-Bone. Let's get in this.
Let's do this.
July 5th, 2019 edition of Impact Wrestling. Fun show, the go-home show before Slammiversary. We opened up TJP and Ace Austin, the rematch from 2 weeks prior, which was TJP's return to Impact Wrestling, surprise return, where he beat. He handed Ace Austin his first loss. This was the rematch. This was a good rematch. I like this feud, J-Mo. This was cool, but the result was weird. The result was weird because TJP made Ace Austin tap out to submit. So where the hell do you get? Where's your rubber? I mean, this was supposed to be your back and forth. But before I go to you for your analysis, I gotta say here, it's not. What I love what Impact is doing is that they're going against the conventional. Because I went into this match thinking, okay, well, Ace is going to win now. And then they'll have a rematch at Slammiversary. They'll have the rubber match at Slammiversary.
50-50.
Right, because that's how it always happens. That's how it always happens. But they just said, fuck off. We're just going to have him win both. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking believable. The guy just beat him. I mean, that's it. He's the better man. He beat him. Shit. It's not your conventional thing. And we're so groomed to expect it. But it's like, hey, they just said, hey, no. If the guy beat him 1 week, it's believable that he can beat him the next too. And he sure did. So what did you think about this? Am I off on my assessment? What do you think? Where do you think? Should they do anything more with this? Give me your take.
No, I think you're spot on. I mean, it was surprising. We are so used to 50-50 booking. He wins one, then the other guy wins one, and then they have a big showdown to get the best 2 out of 3 at the pay-per-view and all that kind of stuff. They left this open because we don't know yet, as far as I haven't heard anything, what the future is for TJP with the company. What was even more shocking, reflecting on this now, is looking at, I'm kind of bouncing back and forth here, so bear with me. Looking at Slammiversary, Ace Austin, because it was advertised that there was going to be an open challenge.
Right.
And then they decided to look, no, let's just get more people involved with this, get more people a chance to be on this big ass show, which is great. But even more shocking that Ace Austin wasn't a part of this.
Exactly. What? How? How did that happen? That he wasn't a part of it?
I was kind of like waiting to hear something like he couldn't be a part of it. Maybe it was a travel thing. I don't know. I even looked at his social media, like, sorry, I couldn't be there. I have no idea why he wasn't at Slammiversary, but I was very surprised. Now he's on the poster for Fallout.
He is. Okay.
So
yeah, I mean, quite a bit of the rosters on the poster for Fallout. Most of them are, it seems like.
Yeah. I mean, there's some significant ones missing, which is interesting, which kind of makes sense of what we were talking about earlier. But,
yep. The one that's missing.
I mean, it's
good.
Oh, go ahead, man.
I was saying the one that's oddly missing was Cage. I didn't see him on that poster, by the way.
Oh, I thought he was on there.
Unless I missed him, maybe he's in the back. I know Elgin's front and center.
Elgin's front and center, which is even more interesting.
But he's also from Toronto, so that kind of helps that too. He's from the area.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They went back to Canada for that taping. And then they're off to another part of Canada for the Windsor taping. Yeah. So I mean, I this match blew me away. It was a great back and forth. It was shocking that TJP won, but what's even going to be more interesting, whether TJP stays with the company or not, and it comes to more tapings or whatever, is to see, because we know that Ace Austin is with the company. He's going to be a guaranteed part of stuff going forward. He's got merch. It's going to be interesting to see how he comes out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like he was built as, he's undefeated. He's getting cocky. This knocks him down a few pegs. Let's see how he reacts to this now.
Yeah, but it's like, what do you do with it? I kind of felt bad here. I'm like, does he get lost in the shuffle now? I'd like to make sure that he is not lost in the shuffle here, because he's an important part to me. He's an important part of the company. He's a young guy. That's future. That's what you got to start building on. As guys like Johnny leave, these are your next stars to invest in. So, we got to keep them strong. And if TJP's only on a couple of appearance basis, like, what are we doing? Are we investing 2 wins in the guy? Like, what are we doing? I mean, we should have used him to get our guy over. We'll see. Maybe TJ's he's feeling it out. Who knows? I'm not going to speculate too much just yet. So, but I like Ace Austin a lot. I like the paper cut spot. I think he's
unique.
He's unique. He just needs to. I think what it is, he's needs to just let some of the personality come out. I produced him in a segment for AAW. Him and his tag team partner, or his bodyguard. I don't know if you've heard of Clayton Gaines. He's part of the Ohio crew.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's been on a bunch of House of Hardcore shows. Tommy loves featuring him. And yeah, he's on a lot of Sammy's shows. What the hell is Sammy's company? Rockstar?
There's Rockstar, and then there's Revolver. There's the two. The Wrestling Revolver and Rockstar.
I've probably seen him on both. But
yeah.
definitely he's part of that Ohio crew. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him within Impact Wrestling within the next year. I would not be
Same.
surprised.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, and I know him, and he's got a great attitude. The guy he looks like $1,000,000. He looks like a star. But J-Bone, he is hilarious. He's got charisma. And when you put the two of them together, like TJ and him together, are fantastic. And I'm like, please bring that over to TV. Because I think they'd kill it. Because we did we did a promo, and I produced them in a promo in Austin, Texas. And we just said, they're like, what do you want us to do? And I gave them a little direction. I said, give me this, give me a little bit of this. I want you to just kind of be easy, play off each other. I give them bullet pointed them on something. And man, they just let it rip, the two of them. And I think, man, it's a prime time for them to bring in Clayton Gaines to be his bodyguard here now. Like, I can't trust this place. There's guys coming in from other companies, catching me off my game. Handing me, they shouldn't even be here. They don't even have contracts. I need a bodyguard to protect me from this stuff. That kind of thing,
Oh, that's money. Hell yeah, dude.
Yes, I think it's great. I'm the future of the X division. I can't have this thing happening to me. Who's gonna show up here next? Things like that. So I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be cool. So,
hell yeah, man.
Let's see what happens. All right, so we go from that. Little promo for Brian Cage, hyping that up. We come back from that break, and Melissa Santos is with Johnny Impact and Bravo, talking about their match later with Swann and Willie. And Santos is pretty surprised that Bravo's, got a man bun. And she's like, what is that? He goes, that right there is a man bun.
That's all I wrote down was the notes for this interview, because sometimes I write down stuff for interviews if it's significant, if I think it's catchy, if it's rememberable. I wrote down one word: man bun.
That was ridiculous. I see. Well, what bums me out more about Johnny leaving? It's that Bravo doesn't have anything to do now. It's like, well, what is he gonna do? Go back to being a ref? I'm like, oh man, you can't do that to Bravo. Come on.
He's got Taya.
That's true. He's got Taya. Okay. All right. Not all hope is not lost. Okay. This was great. He's matching his buddy, and he does. Johnny starts going to like a Macho Man like type promo, ranting and raving. Then he talks about the body fat thing, like you mentioned, 98% lean, 2% body fat. But that was great. I thought it was fantastic. We go back to the ring. J-Bone, Jordan Grace comes out. She's going to be part of commentary during the Kira and Madison Rain match. Madison's interesting. She just kind of shows up, and it's like we gotta choose a direction with Madison, because here's the thing: she shows up and she gets a bunch of wins. Not in this one though. We're gonna talk about it in a second, but she gets a bunch of wins. But is she being used as the Knockouts veteran, or is she being used as the name to get young girls over? I kind of want to establish Madison's role a little more. Am I off, or have they done that? What do you say?
I think she's gonna get used a few different ways depending on, like right now they're working on this Jordan Grace Kira Hogan thing, and I'm a little surprised they didn't have a one-off at Slammiversary, but maybe they felt like it was like not enough happened yet.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's there yet.
And it was. Madison Rain is a good veteran. I've seen her have matches that weren't so great, and I've seen her work matches. Like, this was a good match, and like her match with Jordan Grace was just unbelievable a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that was a sleeper hit. That was a total sleeper hit to me. I was like, I didn't see that coming, man. That to me was like, oh shit, this worked out.
Yeah, especially when she like banged her head and slipped off the apron and had that accident and came back and finished the match strong. Mm-hmm. That gave me a whole new. I mean, she could have been like, "Let's finish this up quick. I'm hurt, whatever," and it probably would have done it.
Right.
But they worked like another 10 minutes or whatever it was. You know, it was a significant more amount of time. So that put another level of respect on her. You know, you forget how good of a worker she really is.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think they're going to kind of just do whatever they need her to do, and I think she's going to do it. Like, you know, she's happy doing it. You know, she's got a job, working steady dates, and she's a good worker. You know, she doesn't have to be on top. Doesn't mean she doesn't have another championship run in her. I think it's just got to be worked right. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's not a bad gig. She works next to her husband. You know, she's considered a veteran. She's got the respect of the locker room. So yeah, not a bad gig. Just as long as they use her properly, I'm totally cool with it. So we'll see where they go with that. But not a bad match. Grace is on. Jordan Grace on commentary. Not bad. Not too bad. I thought she did pretty freaking good. I was pretty happy with her. But
what also helps, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, good.
But what helps is if you notice, especially like if you go back and look at when Kiera Hogan was on commentary, how Callis was like feeding stuff to her.
Oh, big time. Callis is
conversation. Like he'd be like, "So, what do you think about this?" You know, and then she'd go on with that, or you know, just whatever. They go back and forth, and that helped a lot. He did the same thing with Jordan Grace, but I don't think Jordan Grace needed it as much. It was kind of hard to tell, but she did great nonetheless.
Yes. Yeah, she did a good job. I thought Jordan was really good. And you're right. Don is fantastic. You know, the guy knows, you know, he knows how to do those things and fill those gaps. So he did. So, but pretty standard match. It was pretty short. It wasn't too long, but
The one funny thing is Josh Matthews asking Callis about Kiera Hogan's hair, and he like went off on him like, "What the hell are you asking me about her hair for?" He's like, "Well, let me ask Jordan Grace then," and she was like, "What?"
Hilarious. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. I think Callis sometimes throws Josh off. I think he throws him off, like he kind of keeps Josh on his toes, because Josh's like, "Oh shit," you know, I was expecting him to say that.
You're right.
So it's always funny. But Kiera gets a win over Madison on this one. Big win for Kiera. Again, I love when veterans are used right to get young folks over. This is a big win for Kiera to have. Propels her a bit, moves the story along. Perfect. That's what you want.
I think, and I think Kiera Hogan is becoming a decent heel. Slowly but surely, you know,
better heel than face, no question.
Yeah, I mean, as a face, she was just kind of in the background, like part of like another story, but not really featured, which helped her grow as a character. But now she's getting a little spotlight on her. I think this is testing her, and I think she's gonna shine with this storyline with Jordan Grace. I mean, I think she is so far.
Yes, I agree with you, man. It's so far it's been great. The hair color change also helps, so it's good. It's evolution. But
yes.
Grace gets into the ring to confront Kiera, and then Kiera escapes, runs out of there, and laughs. You know, laughs at her and kind of mocks her a little bit. You're right. It was set up to almost have the match at Slammiversary, but I think you need a little more. It wasn't there yet. But if it would have been added on, I don't think anybody would have complained. But if you want to do it right, build it to something else. I think it's got to be built a little bit more. Not there yet. This was a great backstage segment now. We go backstage. The Desi Hit Squad is there. Gama is giving his boys a toast celebration before their match, and he is bequeathing the tea set to Rohit. The family tea set. And I love Raj in this because he's like, you know how big deal that is? That's the tea set. He's like, oh, Chacha, oh my God. Oh God. He's like super excited about it.
Yeah. So, I'm like, yeah, tea set. I'm like, wait, tea set?
Yeah. Now I gotta say, as a guy with Desi blood in him, the tea set is a very special thing in South Asian households. My mother has tea sets she's very proud of. She has several of them. It's just a thing. tea is the biggest drink out there. You know, they drink tea. They don't. That's their drink. They drink tea. You know, remember, it's a very British influenced area. It was colonized by the Brits. So tea is the big thing there. And
okay.
So tea is huge in South Asia, and the tea set's the thing, man. You know, I'm telling you, my mom's tea set collection would blow your minds. I'm sure somebody on the lounge wants to see this now that I've hyped it up. My mother bought a curio. Jay, you know what a curio is? I think it was
we have several in our house. Oh. Yeah, between my mother, God rest her soul, who left us 5 years ago now, and my wife, who has just knickknacks up the wazoo, and she also inherited a mug set from one of her uncles and was shipped here. I don't know how many boxes, I don't know how many mugs, but we have this curio cabinet that's like 7 feet tall and like 8 feet wide, 1.5 feet deep, full of beer steins and beer mugs. We've got awesome. 300. It's just ridiculous. It's great, but it's like, oh my God. It's like
I recently learned what a curio is when I had to put one together for my mom. So, but the tea sets, man, she's got a whole curio full of them. So that's the thing. So that's why Rohit was really excited about the tea set. But the funny thing about this segment is they're turned around, they're talking, and the Deaners sneak up and pour beer into the tea set.
That was priceless.
Hilarious. And then they turn around, they pour it, they all take sips, and they spit it out like, what? Beer? They like freak out, and they're all pissed off. They walk away. Rohit comes back, takes a couple of sips, and he goes, hey, it's good. What can I say? Or something. He sips a little more.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. He's great. He made the segment, but I loved it. I laughed my ass off at the segment. These guys are so valuable. These 5 are great for the comedy. And they can all work. That's the better part. They can work.
Yes.
Gama can work, for God's sake. You know, I mean, he's doing great. I think it's so fun to have these guys on TV, and we're gonna talk about Rohit's match later in a second here. So, but definitely a lot of fun for sure.
Yes.
But we go from that, Jaybone. Father James Mitchell in the back. He's trying to calm down Jess and Sue, who are not happy. I loved how this was shot, by the way. This promo. It had the colors. It was really cool. I don't know if you recall how this one was shot, but if you guys want to go back, watch this one. We go from that. Impact Plus moment of the week was Matt and Jeff Hardy from Slammiversary 2016. I was in the audience on that one. I'm in the crowd. That was I went down there solo. I was in there. I was in that one solo. I flew down, and that was interesting. That was an interesting weekend for me, J-Bone. I went to Slammiversary, went to some TV tapings, came home to Chicago, and got served with divorce papers.
Oh, jeez.
So happy Slammiversary to me. It was great.
Come back to that. My goodness.
Dude, it was fantastic. I was walking up to with my bags in my hand. The guy's like identifies himself. He asked me if I'm who I am, and I said, yeah. He goes, dude, I'm sorry to do this to you. I'm like, well, shit. I said, wait a minute. I said, you couldn't wait till I got home. Like now? I even asked the guy, I'm like, I still got my luggage in my hand. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm like, it's all right. Doing your job. So Slammiversary is always special because I remember getting served with divorce papers. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's been 3 years. Holy shit. All right. Hey, no hard feelings. It's over. I'm doing good. But we go from that to a promo for Sammy and Tessa, slide pipe in their matchup. And then we go back. It's Gama Singh introducing the Desi Hit Squad as Rohit Raju is taking on Laredo Kid. Now, J-Bone, this match, I had heard about it for weeks that this stole the tapings. And holy shit, did these two ever have an amazing match. Rohit comes out the winner after his double foot stomp move. And I remember, now Rohit told a story on to BQ on the lounge, and he did an interview last week. He told a story about his first ever match in Impact, tryout match, as Hakeem Zayn was against Laredo Kid. So it's kind of like they came full circle here. So it was pretty poetic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because they mentioned that Laredo Kid was with Impact before. Now that's a little fuzzy for me, but yeah.
Very brief. He did some of those one night onlys. That's where these two had their match, and he was very proud of this match, Rohit. That they kind of came full circle on this one, and I thought the match was great. I thought they killed it. I could have. I want to see another one. To be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing another one, or if this one was even longer, it would have been great.
It's very interesting, and I want to talk about Laredo Kid here for a minute. Now, not to take away from Rohit Raju, this was money for him. This was great, but it's very interesting that Laredo Kid, in a span of a week, had a couple matches on Impact Wrestling back to back, and was also featured at an AEW show.
Oh, was he really? He was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was on Fighter Fest. What the hell was it?
Fest, yeah.
Fest.
Fest.
He was the mystery, not the mystery. Well, he was kind of like the mystery opponent to fill in the spot. Pac was supposed to be with the Lucha Brothers. Like, he was kind of pre-booked a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Pac he's doing his own thing now, but he will be back in AEW, they say, at some point in the soon and near future or something. Oh, okay. So, and then they did this thing where Lucha Bros went down to Mexico to find the not the replacement, but to find a partner to fight Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. And the Laredo Kid was their partner. And so, yeah, he's gotten some nice TV time over the last few weeks between Impact and, well, you could argue who watched more, but still the attention is nice,
Nice. No, he's a solid talent, and he's got a good flow with everybody. I like what he brings to the table, man.
Yeah,
good for him. But this is a great match. I really enjoyed that. It's big win for Rohit. They need to keep some of these wins coming. I think it's good to build the Hit Squad back up. So fun, very fun. And I want to see more Diener feud. Just keep that feud going, because they have good chemistry. They work well together. Keep the feud going, because they got something there for sure.
Yeah, and besides the comedy, because these guys have been used in comedy so much between Falabod, KM, and now the Dieners. But now when you get matches like this, it's still focused on the feud, but it also reminds you how good they are in the ring,
Yes.
And that's important.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So very cool. Very cool. We go from that, J-Bone. Moose is in the ring, and he's talking about the RVD match. He's hyping that up. The crowd split. Crowd is totally split on this one. Half chanting Moose. You notice that?
Yes.
Half chanting Rob Van Dam, half chanting Moose. Rob Van Dam, Moose. Back and forth. I like that, because it's the ones who don't want to let it go and the ones who want to let it go. So it's cool. Moose is focused on. I like that he kept bringing up that, hey, I was an ECW fan. I was a fan of yours, but that was 20 years ago. Your time's done. Like, it's over for you. It's my turn now. I like that. It's like, it's my turn now, not you. You had your chance. So they're kind of going back and forth, and then he rolls a clip of him knocking out Sabu. So he kind of kicks to the video screen, which I like the in-crowd video screen. That was pretty cool. But it basically shows that he took out Sabu, which is Rob Van Dam's buddy, best friend. And then so he has RVD's attention. RVD comes out, start attacking him. Security breaks it up, big schmaz, and they, it's all kind of hoopla, ready to go for the pay-per-view after that. So as we know, Moose came out ahead on the pay-per-view, which I think was the most important win of the night in terms of progression of a character. I mean, he needed to stamp that RVD thing, the RVD role, and say, hey, I took that from him. I'm the new guy. I'm the new effing show around here. I like that. So big win for Moose.
It was huge.
Oh,
absolutely.
Big time. So we go to our main event here, J-Bone. This was the one to determine which two Rascals are going to go to the pay-per-view fight for the tag team titles. So this was Trey versus Wentz versus Dez.
I don't think it was the main event.
Thoughts? You want to start off with this one? Give me your thoughts on this one.
I don't think it was the main event though. There was the tag match that came after this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, my bad. Oh yeah, you're right. Duh. Well, sure as hell felt like a main event.
It did. It
bad.
did.
My bad.
Because because everyone loves the Rascals, and I'm sure there was plenty of people that are like, oh, it has to be Dez and Wentz, but I'm sure there's a lot of other people that are like, no, let's get Trey in there too. But then who do you pick for the other guy?
Right.
And this was a little emotional. I mean, it was a little emotion at the end there because
it was.
it was like, they had it kind of felt like Wentz and Dez had to give a little tough love to Trey to kind of, get his head back in the right place after, because he was, he got a little crazy the last few weeks. He did his drinking, and and then he screwed up the match, and then he got his win, and then he got big-headed about it, and they had to knock him down a few pegs. That's kind of what this match felt like. Like, okay, it shouldn't have been a double team, and then sometimes it wasn't a double team, and sometimes Wentz and Dez really knocked each other around. It was a great triple threat. It was a lot of fun, but it was a little emotional too. So it was cool.
It was good. And we had like I said, it was a lot of action though. I mean, this was definition of total nonstop action. If
I was
coin a phrase, it really was total nonstop action on this one. But Dez and Wentz kind of, I liked was that they both did the pin. They kind of both covered him, and it's like, hey, it wasn't the one guy. It was kind of good. It was well done in that regard.
Yeah. So,
and I do like that they found a way to get Trey into the mix at the pay-per-view too. It's like, hey, you lost that, but hey, you're in the opener. You're in the four-way. Yeah. So it worked out. Trey still had and he loved that match. I mean, Trey was very proud of it online. By the way, side note, I don't want to get too much into this. Trey Miguel kind of went nuts on Twitter today. I don't want to say nuts, but he let some emotion fly today. Did you see that? Against David, really let loose. Trey Miguel and David Starr are not too well. There was some fire thrown back and forth between the two.
Really?
Oh yeah, this got a little heated today, and this was a shoot. And I'm just gonna give a quick brief mention of it. David Starr unleashed or revealed that he's got some new gear and has BLM on, so Black Lives Matter on his gear. Apparently, he's done activism gear before, but he has a Black Lives Matter. Trey, who is half black, took exception to it and let Starr have it. It was pretty intense. It was pretty intense. He, called David Starr a fake and a phony. He thinks he's disingenuous. It got pretty intense today. The two of them, and then Sugar Dunkerton. Sugar Dunkerton got involved in this.
He's been in a few tapings. I'm familiar with him. Yeah.
Sugar got involved in this. Trey let him have it. I mean, this was heated. Now, me and my buddies were talking about it today, and we said, hey, listen, let's let it go. Focus on the pay-per-view, because he was really happy about the pay-per-view last night. Yeah. But I guess, listen, you know what? Something pissed him off, and he had to speak his mind. So, hey, it is what it is. But interesting, to say the least, on that one.
It was, yeah. I don't understand. I mean, I know I've heard that David Starr is like, he said some things here and there about Ring of Honor and certain shows overseas, and I've heard some things about that. But I don't excuse me. I don't understand the
huge.
Why would he put Black Lives Matter on his? I don't understand that. I guess there's got to be a bigger story to it, I guess.
He's claiming activism. He says, I donate to it. I've donated to other groups. And Trey felt that was, he said he's full of shit. I think he's full of shit, and he's just doing it to get attention. It's nuts. I mean, I hate to bring attention to a feud like that, but it was really in my face today. So I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. If you're following Trey, you definitely saw it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's. I wonder where it goes. I mean, not to sound like a feud, but I wonder what the hell happens, because both of them work Chicago here with me, so I'm thinking, what's going to happen there next time we got a show? When
clear the locker room.
Oh yeah, clearly it's going to be one of those deals, man. I don't know what's going to happen. Who the hell knows, man? But we'll see. But we get a clip of Tessa rolling up to the arena with a baseball bat. So this is where the bat kind of is more, they're kind of dropping the seeds of that bat, that she's playing. She's going fire with the bat. So we go to a commercial break. We come back from the break. Killer Cross, Father Killer Cross, because he's at the altar, is in the church.
Man, this promo, jeez, this was just
God. Oh.
See, and this is why another reason why I thought for sure with a build-up like this for Cross's character, I'm like, they're hitting a home run with him. Why would he lose? But whatever, I try not to overthink it. I try not to, because I've gotten so upset, years past about, well, what the hell? What? It's not worth it. It's like, all right. But
it's wrestling show. We can't
it's
forget
wrestling.
That part of it, right? It's a TV show. He's not really losing. It's a TV show. It's episodic. That's something we tend to forget. Wrestling fans tend to forget. This is episodic. You don't need all your answers this week. You remember, Jaybone, back in the day, back before there was DVR and streaming and all this shit, you had to wait a week to see what was going to happen. And you had to eat shit if you didn't like the result. And you had to wait till the next week to find out who the hell killed, or next season, who the hell killed JR. Let's see how many people get that fucking reference.
Oh, I was a bald 10-year-old ripping out my hair. No, I'm kidding.
Bald 10-year-old in
Paris chasing me down the block. What the hell? Ripping your hair out. Stop
it. I lost you for a second there, but was that 85? Who killed JR?
Oh God. That's like mid 80s. Had to be.
Oh man. Now for those who don't know, I'm sure a lot of people, we're dating ourselves. And Kyle would kill us right now because he would he'd say, what the hell are you two old bastards talking about? But man, look up who shot JR. Talk about the cliffhanger of all cliffhangers. But
who shot JR? Yes.
Yeah, Kyle, go ahead and clip in Cross's sermon right here. I want to hear that sermon again real quick.
We are gathered here today, collectively, to analyze the parable of the man who lost everything. Interestingly enough, the ending to this story is not yet written. This man was abandoned and betrayed by all of his friends, his loved ones, his family, even his own hand. This man is truly in a place of isolation, the total abandonment of God and love itself. The ultimate salvation for every man is to die for his sins. And at Slammiversary, that individual shall be granted that opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, you may now stand and kneel to the cross. For I am your only true salvation. Amen, Mr. Edwards.
And how crazy was that? Like that, this guy, what a fucking nut job. Like
the freaking, and at the end, takes the goblet, drinks the blood. Well, it's supposed to be wine, but comes out blood.
Yep.
And it's like, oh man, honestly, I felt like that was it reminded me of a scene from Lucha Underground where Vampiro did his old shtick and then had like the blood coming out of his mouth. It reminded me a lot of that. It probably hadn't, it was not meant to, be a tribute to him or everything, but that's what it reminded me of. And, some would say, oh, it's a Gene Simmons thing, whatever. But, we're metalheads. We get that one.
Oh yeah,
but,
for sure.
But yeah, man, especially at the end, he's got the blood pouring out of his mouth. He's got that devilish, the eyes are like, half moons, and just, oh man, God, he's one scary bastard sometimes.
Sure is. He sure is, man.
Crazy.
And I don't think anybody's writing his shit for him. I think that's Killer Cross. That's him doing it. Like, that's him coming up with this. Who's gonna write for Killer Cross? You know what I mean? Like that. It's got to be him. That's all. Sociopath. Brilliant though.
Right.
What a brilliant guy. Main event time. Johnny Bravo, Johnny Impact taking on Rich Swann, Willie Mack. I love the team of Rich Swann and Willie Mack. I think they're great. As we predicted, they're Willie Mack won that match yesterday, the 4-way. Where does Willie go with Rich, especially Rich retaining? Could we see a feud coming up? But in the meantime, what a great match. Fun. It was fun.
This was a blast. And it was a great match, but it was also so funny watching Johnny Bravo's fake man bun like bop all over the place. And then, he'd have I just can't believe how good Johnny Bravo is at it really reminded me of like a Heenan spot, where Heenan's supposed to be in the match, but he's not, then he plays chicken shit. It's classic. It was great.
Now people forget Johnny Bravo was actually a wrestler. Johnny Bravo was a trained wrestler. He wrestled my buddy, my AAW owner, Danny Daniels. They've wrestled each other. I've heard a story. I talked to Bravo in New York at a Business Hall of Fame, and I mentioned, AAW and guy, and he's like, "Oh, Danny's promotion, holy shit!" He was telling me stories about the two of them wrestling back in the day, and I told Danny, and he goes, "Oh, Bravo's great.
Nice.
He's a great wrestler." I mean, you're going back a few years. I mean, those guys, they broke in the late '90s, but Bravo is a trained wrestler. He knows how to work. The guy knows what he's doing in there. He's got the psychology. He's also a regular referee, so the guy definitely gets it. He's not just some amateur going in.
Oh, sure.
But he's funny. He's hilarious.
He is. He's a riot. I mean, they've really, to give him the chance to not just be in the background how it started, but to really like blossom and just let him just get kind of crazy with this character, and then especially in the ring, which is prior to Slammiversary. Man, it was just great.
It's great. It was really fun. He took the pin. He takes a stunner and a Phoenix stunner from Mack, Phoenix splash from Swann. Swann gets the cover on him, and him and Mack pick up the win. So it was a fun match, man. Fun match. It didn't matter. It didn't matter who won or lost, to be honest, on this one. This was just a good time. But however, having Swann and Mack win led you to believe, because they pinned Bravo. A lot of people started leaning towards Johnny taking the X Division title the next that weekend, which he did not. My show the match of the night for me. I think Rich Swann in that final 2 minutes of the match proved the guy's a legend. So Swann is incredible, man, absolutely incredible.
Yeah. But
that brings us to the final segment of the night. And it's Callahan and Jake Crist are on the lovely patio. Now, that patio is part of the Melrose Ballroom. It's gorgeous.
Yes.
A gorgeous view. It overlooks the city. They're having some food, some drinks, celebrating Sammy's upcoming victory, and because he knows he's winning. And I'm laughing at. Go ahead. I'll let you explain it. Just remember where the camera. Now, guys, the camera is on Jake and Sammy, and there's a table of food in front of them.
Yes.
And Jaybone, you want to explain what happens next?
Oh, it's priceless. They're talking about where's Dave, and, then, oh well, we're gonna when he was saying how much trouble he was in, and we're gonna do this to him, or they were saying some shtick like that, and all of a sudden, here comes Dave across all the food, wipes out all the dishes, and the look on Jake and Sammy's face as he comes flying across and wipes out the whole party, and then they slowly pan to the left, like, what the hell did what who what?
I just love that Dave came into the frame.
Yeah,
flying across. They were talking all of a sudden. He's like, whoa! They look at him like, what the fuck? And the way they panned over was so like cinematic. I loved it. I thought it was fun. They get to a bit of a brawl. Sammy goes after Tessa reverses it, hits him instead. We go off the air. Great way to leave you for Slammiversary. Now, it's funny. When we watched Slammiversary, nobody knew that the main was going to be Sammy and Tessa. Everybody assumed it would be the title match. But this kind of almost led you to believe that it would be the main, because they kind of went off the air with this. This was your final segment of the night for the go-home show.
Yeah.
Made you feel like this is it. And Cage and Brian and Cage and Elgin weren't on this show, so I guess they kind of did let you know in a way.
Yeah,
but,
that's true. I mean, there were clips in there,
yeah,
I think, but yeah, they weren't featured. That's right. I'm looking down my notes, and yeah, it was everybody but them, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
It was also very telling how Tessa was standing over Callahan at the end of this segment. She hit him with the bat. He was down, and she was standing over him. And it was the way that ended felt like, oh, it's okay, And like I said, you're looking back on it now, hindsight 2020. We didn't know this is going to be the main event. But it totally makes sense how they put this at the end of. I mean, they obviously knew. I think they knew for a while, especially when they edited this at the end of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think. I mean, I didn't see this coming as far as this being the main event. I knew it was going to be one of the more important matches. I said it had the potential of being match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
But I still don't think a lot of us thought or assumed that this was going to be the main event. And I think it was incredibly brave, for lack of better words, for Impact Wrestling to make history and put this as the main event for both Tessa and Sammy. I think it's amazing. Looking back
fantastic.
At it.
Big move. I mean, Sammy really was mentioning that. He was like that. Hey, we made history here, and it really did. I mean, this is. I've seen every Slammiversary. I've seen all of them since day one, and I could never imagine that they'd go with that there would be a intergender main event at the show that had all King of the Mountain matches and all that, guys like Kurt Angle and Sting and Bobby Roode and AJ Styles. Like, the fact that they trusted this enough, they had enough faith in the Diamond and the Death Machine to do this. To me, I said it several times last year. I say it all the time. To me, Sami Callihan is the best in the game today. I think nobody works harder to make it more believable than Sammy. And on the flip side, the perfect one on the other side of that is Tessa. She's so good. She's so good.
She gets it. I think she's still growing as a worker and as a character.
She's 24. She's 24 years old. You believe that?
But 24. How good she is in that short amount of time says something.
Unbelievable.
And she's only going to get better.
Imagine her. Imagine her in 10 years. She's
Oh,
20 fucking 4, and she's a damn. I mean, Don Callis already says we're gonna call her the best Blanchard, not the best female, but Blanchard. We're gonna call her the best Blanchard ever. One of the best wrestlers ever, not one of the best female wrestlers, one of the best wrestlers of all time. Totally agree, man. She's on her way.
She's on her way.
I can't imagine when 10 years from now. I mean, she's 24 years old. Oh, it's unbelievable to me. So no, Tessa is great. What an incredible build, and the match itself. Again, if you guys haven't heard our Slammiversary review, check it out. It's on the Impact Lounge or on iTunes, Stitcher, and all Spotify and all that stuff under Total Nonstop Impact. Take a listen, and then watch the show. Watch if you haven't seen Slammiversary, go to Fight TV or order it. Replays all week. See the match. Everybody's talking about. But Jaybone, that was it. That was the go home show, July 5th. It was the day after Independence Day. It was a fun long weekend for everybody. Great way to go in to Slammiversary. But that was a busy weekend. They had Bash at the Brewery, which aired right before this, and then they also had the RCW show, which was called was it called Showdown? What was it called?
Deep Impact.
Deep Impact. I'm sorry.
Deep Impact. Yeah, and I had the chuckle at that one because I'm like, oh man, it sounds like a bad porno.
It does sound like a porno. That was the one with Booker T's promotion.
Yes.
The Texas Triad, right? They did San Antonio, Houston, and then Dallas. And as we know, the big news coming out of Bash of the Brewery was that North beat LAX for the tag team titles. It's on Impact Plus. Total shock. But,
just amazed that, I mean, because this was all, it was all LAX and the Rascals. And in the North, they're booked for the show. I mean, the card for, I haven't watched it yet. You watched the Bash at the Brewery, right?
Yes, I did watch it.
Okay, yeah, see, and I haven't seen the whole thing yet. I've seen clips. So it's still on my to-do list. But the card for this looked amazing. I was like, oh, man. It looked so good. I was just like hoping that no one was going to get hurt at this one going into Slammiversary and then the next one at too.
That's the worry always in these things.
Holy cow. So, yeah, and I heard the show was great. I can't wait to see it. I just haven't had time to watch it yet because we're puppy sitting all weekend for this dog was crazy. Love this pooch. I posted some on my Facebook, but man, just had no time to watch hardly anything. So let alone the MLW show that got cut off at the end, and I didn't get to see Jacob Fatu win the championship.
Bummer.
But I saw it tonight on YouTube on Monday because they always replay it on YouTube. So it's all good. Reviewed it. Tremendous match. We're gonna have the summer of Fatu and MLW.
He's in the main event at AAW on this Friday coming up at July 12th. AAW is in Milwaukee. It's Fatu versus Sami Callihan.
I saw that card. I'm gonna be at my wife's son's wedding, and I'm like, man, that card for AAW coming to Milwaukee looks amazing.
Yeah, wish you could have been up there. If it goes well, we'll be back, J-Bone. We'll be back there. But yeah, guys, tune in. I mean, Sami Callihan is our champion. So if you're an Impact guy, or Impact fan, a lot of Impact talent is on AAW. So definitely check it out.
Taya versus Havoc.
Taya has threatened to slap the shit out of me for the parodies. And for calling her, not for the parody, for calling her scumbag of the week.
We love you, Taya. Oh, speaking of scumbag of the week.
Yeah, speaking of that scumbag, what about him?
He's missing.
He's missing. We don't know where he is. He's somewhere. No, he's around. He kind of lurks in spirit. But
Slammiversary took a lot out of him.
It sure did. Poor guy. But J-Bone, that's gonna do it, man. That'll wrap it up. Let's get some plugs in here. Where can people find you?
I was gonna say we gotta pick a scumbag of the week though.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, let's do that. Scumbag. Let's.
We haven't done that.
Clearly, it's Kyle.
I know we're talking. Yeah, but I don't want to do that with him not here. You know.
All right, fair enough. Well, look, if I had to pick one, I'm going to pick Kyle. Total scumbag. Without him, let's say if it's not Kyle, I'm going to pick. Kira Hogan's getting kind of scummy. She's just kind of being dastardly lately. I don't like this new Kira Hogan bullshit. Jordan's trying to be her friend. Scumbag of the week, Kira Hogan. God damn
it. Interesting. I gotta pick Mr. Man Bun himself, Johnny Bravo.
Good stuff. Yeah.
I loved what he did, in the tag match and the promo, and just and this kind of plays off of Slammiversary as well. What he did with for Johnny Impact, at ringside, and the polishing of the abs. Just the last few weeks, it was great. I'm putting the guy over, but it's scumbag. There he is. Oh.
You guys me music on Instagram, Twitter. Oh, there you are, Jaybone. You're back in?
Yes.
We lost you.
I lost you.
Shit. I don't know what's going on here, Jaybone. Let's get your plugs. I started mine, but let's get yours in. Let's jump into your plugs.
All right.
Where can people find you? Do it before I cut you off again.
Usually on the Twitter box at Jaybone5150. That's JAYBONE 5150. Running the Smash This Podcast on YouTube. You can follow me also. There's a Smash This Podcast Twitter. There's also Smash This Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. So all over the place. Great. But cool. yeah, hit me up. Give it a follow. Just building my own brand along with joining these fine gentlemen over here on the Total Nonstop Impact Podcast. Having a blast.
One fun one. Let's get that right. But guys, you can find me at Vanilla Joke and Hemi Music on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Or not Facebook, yeah. I think it's Vanilla Joke Facebook. I come right up too. So, guys, look for us over there. Hemi Music. Hemi's my band, which is we've been featured at our song Decays and featured on Rebellion. As many of you guys remember, our song Rebellion was featured Rebellion. So Hemi Music, HEMIMUSIC.com, or Hemi Music on all these social media. Follow me there. You guys can find this podcast wherever podcasts are found: Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Player.fm, a bunch of others I've never heard of. YouTube at The Impact Lounge, YouTube at Total Nonstop Impact, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at We Talk Impact. Follow us, type in We Talk Impact, comes right up on all three of those. Guys, connect with us. We'd love to hear from you. Leave us comments anywhere. We love feedback, any feedback you got. And please, if you're an Apple user, rate us, review us on iTunes. Because the ones who've done it so far, it's been great. Our ratings keep going up and up and up. We are climbing in the charts. I've seen the weeklies. Thank you guys so much for that, because the numbers are looking amazing. I cannot stress that enough. You guys are incredible. Thank you all for doing it. But leave some ratings. It takes a second. Go in there, hit a 5-star rating. Let us know what you think of the show. But I think that's all the plugs. J-Bone, did I miss anything?
No, I don't think. I think you nailed it all. Hell yeah.
I think we got it. All right, guys. We will be back with you next week. We'll talk about the now we got to figure out what's going on next week. I don't know what they got planned. They haven't said what taping is. There was no taping in Dallas. There's been rumored it's going to be a documentary. It's Anniversary Rewind. We'll see what happens Friday.
Well, Fallout is in
Sunday.
Oh, okay. So I don't know what they're going to do on Friday. Yeah.
No idea. No idea what's going on Friday, guys. If anybody knows, leave us a comment. I'd love to know what the hell is happening. If it's just a documentary, we won't waste our time. But maybe what we'll do, J-Bone, how about this? If it's just a documentary, it's not worth reviewing in that regard. Let's go back. Maybe we'll do Bash of the Brewery and Deep Impact or something. We'll kind of knock those two out or something. We'll do quick reviews of those, and then wait for Fallout to air, and we'll do that one next week then too.
Yeah, we'll cover some news. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a plan. All right, guys. Thank you very much. We will connect with you guys next week. Later.
See ya.